What is up, everybody? It's the commissioner here, Jimmy, the mailman Milstead, and joining me for the Storks Desk, episode 6 on this Friday, we're in November.
We are.
What am I talking? November the 3rd.
Cut.
I'm sorry. November the 3rd, 2023. I've been used to saying October, Stork. That was a great month, but we're already in November. Halloween is over. How are you doing, sir? I'm fresh off a vacation, a trip back east, visiting my parents' 50th anniversary. Congratulations to them. We were going to do a show earlier, but it was kind of a cluster back there, and I'm grateful for you joining me on this Friday. We're going to catch up all things week 3, and we're in week 4. We're almost done with week 4. How are you doing, Storky? Did you have a good Halloween?
I did, man. I had to work really early the next day, so I didn't stay up too late. I usually do the trick-or-treating for the kids, but I had to be in bed by like 7:30 because I had to get up at 3. So, but other than that, it was good. The wife left me a whole bunch of Halloween candy. It's some of my favorites, these things. I love these caramel Halloween treats. The ones that are all wrapped up in the package. Yeah, so
Attaboy.
I'm going to be testing my diabetes level over the next few days.
I hear you. As long as you ain't eating that candy corn shit.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. I was traveling back, actually, Halloween. Apparently, flights were cheaper when I looked at way back when I was getting my flight. Nobody wanted to travel on Halloween, so that was the day I was going to come back here on the west side. We're back in the league offices, though, Storky, and we're ready to talk about all things fantasy hockey. The last time we talked to you was the day before the Frozen Frenzy. That was actually, a week ago Tuesday. So we have a lot to talk about, buddy. What'd you think of that? I mean, you were in Canada, so you didn't really experience what we experienced in the States. Kind of like a red zone Sunday. I loved it, even though your Leafs. Oh, by the way, I have to change my background. I'm glad I just brought that up.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to give me a few minutes to find. I'll let you talk.
I'll allow you to pass on this one, but the next show you have to.
All right. Next show, I'll be better prepared. I knew I needed another background photo, and I totally forgot because Nick owes me. The Capitals actually beat his Wild.
Yes.
During last weekend, but we will pay up our debts on the next show, episode 7. But Storky, I thought it was great. It was a red zone experience type thing for football on hockey, and it was going from game to game. Kevin Weeks and John Buccigross are the big States guys here. Well, I mean, you know Kevin Weeks. He's usually in Canada too, but what they pretty much had a whip around the whole league, checking in on games. Plus, they had 3 full games on their mothership station. Starting with the Capitals, they got trounced by your Maple Leafs 4-1 that night. Then they went to the Bruins versus Bedard, and then the nightcap was Vegas. And my brain is scrambling. Oh, Flyers, Vegas. So those were full games. And if you wanted to switch to go check out the roundabout, I thought it was a really good thing. I'm 2 thumbs up. I realize it's hard to schedule all these teams on one night, but I think if they could find a formula to do this once a month, every year during a season, they get my approval. What did you think? 32 teams in action, always fun.
I mean, it's great to have all those games going on and everything. My issue is doing it on a Tuesday. I think that should be a weekend thing myself. That would be great, like even on a Friday. But a Saturday or a Sunday would be, ideal. I mean, we're busy here in Canada with Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday. But, hey, you know what? If they were to do that, I think a Sunday would be the best day to do that once a month.
Yeah.
The Tuesday thing, I mean, everybody's working. I mean, people can't take time off to watch hockey, although they can record it and all that stuff, but it's just not the same, right? To have a monthly Sunday night or Sunday during the day, but The other problem with that is they're competing with NFL, so that's a problem. But perhaps maybe after the NFL season's over, it'd be something to think about because like I said, I love the idea, but Tuesday, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed it. Like you said, once NFL's over, they could definitely, because I think the ratings were quite good here in the States. I don't have that information in front of me, but it was also NBA opening night that night.
Yes.
So they had a lot to compete with. But from what I hear around the hockey world, from what being a Twitter or whatever it's called now, X follower, a lot of people enjoyed that. But week 3 was a great week, Stork. I'm still learning this whole production thing. You can't see the whole scoreboard behind me, but those are our results from last week. I'll read them off real quick. It was not a good week for you trying to beat Probert. Dave gets one up on you, buddy. 13-9, the official score. You fall to 1-2. Dave is just rolling. Truck rolling through the Gretzky. He's 3-0, trying to go 4-0 this week. We'll get to your matchup in a minute. DB Cooper gets a big win, goes to 2-1, slaying the DuPont Pipelayers 12-6. Mark continues to own that series. By the way, what was your series? Real quick, I have it right here. You and Dave are now
it's 3-1 for
3-1. Yeah, Mark 4-0 all time versus Tim. So we also had Huma in the Gretzky edge out the Frozen Norseman 10-9. That was a thrilling matchup. That series is deadlocked 2-2. Nick not here to talk about it once again. As he's on a family excursion again. We can't wait to get him back. It's been 2 weeks. But Nick, big loss to Julio. Julio finally gets off the schneid. He gets in the win column. Over in the Ovechkin, we had a great game. The Cherry Bombs were trailing Washington all week, but she flips the script at the end, 10-8, beating Wayland. Wayland's first loss of the year. Obviously, their first matchup ever. Alex leads that series 1-0. Another thriller. This one had actually like a stat correction. Scott was shown to win Sunday night, and it ended up being Mark 11-10. So Mark gets a big win over Scott. Scott now 1-2. Scotty reeling after being the Ovechkin champions last year. We'll see if he can rebound this week. I think he's having a great week, if I recall. And then me, the Ad Americans, always tough to beat Dan Hall in other fantasy leagues. The Killer Bunnies, though, lose to the Ad Americans 15-6 in convincing fashion. The Americans showing signs of life here this season. But this week, another script flipped as I'm playing Whalen. I had a huge lead on him, and he has got a huge lead on me right now. But we'll talk about week 4 in a minute. But anything stand out to you last week, Stork? You can talk about your game if you want. Another loss to Dave. Boo.
Yeah. And of course, I've got that 0-1 record in the playoffs against Dave. So
yeah,
I hate that guy. I think the theme last week was all goaltending for most of the matches. The Woodchucks came up with the better goaltending to beat Nova. And same thing in the Cherry Bomb Washington game. It was the Cherry Bombs coming up with the better goaltending, and that put them over the edge. Same thing with Huma and the Norsemen. Huma out-tended Nick, and he comes up with a loss. And, of course, in my game, too, it was all goaltending for Dave. I matched him up on the offensive side, but goaltending put me away, and we'll have to correct that for next game. The last one was another mistake by the Killer Bunnies, as they failed to get those 3 starts in, and that cost them the goaltending stats. And Dan's really got to get that situation cleared up, or it's going to be a long season for him, because he's got a good team. and it's not too long to bounce back. He's 1-2 now, but two of those losses were due to goaltending mishaps. The only one that didn't have anything to do with goaltending was the DB Cooper and DuPont game. DB Cooper outshot them. They out face offed them, out hit them, and out blocked them. And I think that was the difference in that series.
Yeah, back to your matchup, Stork. I don't think you had a bad week at all in goaltending. Swayman, it might be just due to because he's switching on and off with Allmark there. Just a great stretch for Swayman every time he's in. Those Bruins are on fire, I know, much to your dismay. And then Alexander Georgiev, he actually had 2 losses last week, but I guess he could have done better. Colorado being on the east side for a little bit. But all in all, I think your goaltending's on par.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but he outdueled me for sure. I mean, he had a good performance all week, and he wiped the slate clean in goaltending against me. So, like I said, I'm 3 weeks into the season. I'm not too worried. Got lots of time to revamp and get going, and I think I'm doing that this week. So.
Yeah, the NHL 3 stars last week for week 3. Tyler Toffoli, he was on my team. He's a big reason why I got the victory over Hall. This guy put up 6 goals, 1 assist, 7 points in 4 games played. Those New Jersey Devils, they really know how to score in bunches. Even if they do lose, they ended up losing that crazy game to the Capitals. That was the night before I flew out. Yeah. I think the first time in history, a 3-goal swing. Caps had 3 goals, then they had 4 goals. The Devils did take the lead, and then the Caps won it 6-4. They had 3 goals in the third period. I read somewhere that was a first time in NHL history. I don't know who the stat person is that has to go through all the games to see that, but that's crazy. But Toffoli, your number 1 star of the week. Number 2 star went to the Frozen Norseman, Nick. He has that Jonas Johansson in Tampa. Tampa's struggling without Vasilevsky, but this guy's kind of picking up a little bit of the slack. Tampa Bay not firing on all cylinders. They lost to Columbus last night, but Johansson got number 2 star. He had 2 shutouts last week, Stork, 2-0. And then Ryan Hartman, another, he's on Nick's team, but Nick's Minnesota Wild team. So he's enjoying Ryan Hartman. He belongs on the Cherry Bombs, Buchanan. Alex, a big reason she got a win last week over Whalen. He had 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points in 4 games. So those are your 3 stars of the week, buddy. I don't know. You want to see what Don Cherry's got for rankings after this week?
Do we have
let's take a look. Yeah, let's switch our slide here. Kind of an interesting shakeup. I might have to scoot over a little bit. But as you can see, the Prober Etiquette's still at 3-0, on their way to 4-0. We'll take a look at week 4 here in a minute. But DB Cooper jumped up a little bit, Stork, he jumped down a spot, didn't he? Let me bring up that slide here because I can't see it on our.
I'm not seeing the right-hand side of it.
Okay. I'll just talk my way through it then. DB Cooper actually moved up a spot. They were in spot 3 last week, but Prober Etiquette at 3-0 stays at number 1. The Wendigo, that's who fell with the loss, but I have a feeling they might go back up. They have been a tough team to play against, as I'm finding out this week. Whalen with this first loss drops down 1 spot. The Woody Woodpeckers jumped up 3 spots from 7 to number 4. I really like the way Mark's team's handling the pressure. He's got great goaltending, as you said. Adna gets a little favorable jump from Cherry. He was at number 10. Huge win against arch nemesis Dan Hall, even though that was our first meeting ever here in the league. Cherry likes the way Adna is going. Nova Fire Brigade, another drop. After Cherry had him way up at number 4, he goes down to number 6. The Cherry Bombs move up 1 spot to number 7. Huma moves up a few spots with their first win. Cherry still likes that team. If they get on a roll, watch out for Julio. He's at number 8. The Killer Bunnies drop down to number 9 after being number 5. Stork, what do you think of your position? You were number 6. Cherry has you down at number 10 right now.
Yeah, I know. No respect at all, man. And of course, we'll get to his picks this week.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't like Langley, obviously. Maybe he's scared of scorpions. I don't know what it is. But I'll take care of that ranking this week.
Not Cherry, but Jimmy. I really like the Frozen Norseman squad. I think they're going to be better than where they're at. Cherry has him down at 11. They were at number 9 last week, and then unfortunately DuPont, they're still the only winless team. Storky still in the number 12 spot. I was trying to get Tim on for today, but he's working. As you can see, DuPont is in the cellar yet again. Thoughts on the Don Cherry rankings overall?
Well, I mean, you can't argue with prober etiquette, that's for sure. But and of course, Washington's still up there. DB Cooper, the defending champions, that's who everybody's going after. But like we talked about before, those rankings are going to go up and down till about mid-season. Then they'll start to level off as teams know. I mean, when you get to the mid-season point, every team knows what they need to do for the final 10 or 11 games. They know if they have a chance at a playoff spot. So, and like I said, that's when teams will start to level off to where they are and what they need to do. And that's when the rankings will settle down a little bit.
So, Donnie Boy and his predictions, buddy, last week, I guess he did a little bit better. He was a miserable 2-4. Before that, he was 1-5. So he's only at 6-12 on his prognostication. So things are looking up for you, Stork, if he's got you too low in the standing or his rankings. He only got prober etiquette right last week and the champions, DB Cooper. So this week, Donnie Boy took Mark Raymond to beat you. No surprise there. Yeah. Nick Reedy to rebound against the Pipe Layers. And Dave Snellgrove, I don't think he's ever going to pick against this guy. He's got him sneaking out a win over Huma. We'll dive into those matchups in a minute. In the Ovechkin circuit, he likes Dan Hall to rebound against Mark Wood, even though I think that's going to be a great match. That is his match. Oh, no, the matchup of the week, he has Jimmy and Whalen. But he's got Dan Hall there. He's got Scott Lanham to rebound. Scott Lanham's one of his darlings. He likes to jock sniff the sniff jock, whatever the Nova Fire Brigade, to beat the Cherry Bombs. That's their first ever meeting. And then he's got Jimmy to go to 4-0 against Washington Wendigo. But right now, Jimmy's got a lot of work as Whalen has taken the lead in that game. Last week, Kevin Stork was a putrid 2-4.
Yeah, I know. That was terrible.
While Reedy was 1-5. The commish got better after going 0-6 last week. He was 3-3. So your season tally, Storky, you and Nick are 10-8 predicting league matchups, while Jimmy and Grapes are 6-12. Jimmy and Grapes do not pick the same games, by the way, so it's kind of odd how that is. But let's take a look at who Don Cherry has this week. I got the slide behind me, but you can't see. We got Mark versus you, Stork. DB Cooper versus Langley. Stork leads this series all time 3-0. I know you said Mark beat you in the playoffs. Was that right?
No, it was Dave that beat me in the playoffs.
So you got some bragging rights here on Mark Raymond, the champions. Let's see what that matchup is like in a minute. But Grapes took Mark this week. Tim leads the series with Nick all time 2-1 as those two are facing off. Grapes took Nick. Dave, as we said, leads Julio all time 3-0. As Huma and Dave are going at it. Dave obviously picked by Grapes. Jimmy picked by Grapes leads the series on Whalen 3-0 all time. And this is the same deal. Jimmy actually has a playoff loss to Whalen. Whalen's only fantasy victory versus Jimmy was last year's playoffs, ending Adna's season. That is the matchup of the week for Grapes. First ever meeting between Mark and Hall. Grapes took Hawley. And then the first ever meeting between Alex and Scott. Grapes took Scott. So those are your matchups this week, Stork. What do you want to talk about this week? What matchup?
Well, I mean, we can touch on them all really because they're all important games. although it's only week 4, but a lot of teams. I mean, they don't want to fall to 0-4 like DuPont doesn't want to. A lot of teams are 2-1 and 1-2, and these are important games for teams to either get back to 500 or get a couple of games over 500, basically for most of them. So it's an important week here.
Yeah, currently the scoring. I'm just going off the Yahoo page. Right now, Whalen's up 14-5 on me. I was up big on him all the way up to last night. The Vancouver Canucks defeated the San Jose Sharks last night 10-1. I didn't get to watch that game. I'm still kind of jet lagged. I kind of went to bed early. I watched the Caps lose, and then I watched the Bruins and your Leafs. But what did you think of that 10 spot by the Vancouver Canucks? Did you watch that game at all? I think that's where Whalen took over.
Yeah, I listened to most of it. Hey, how about those Canucks? I mean, they're Elias Pettersson has led the way for that team, and he's getting a lot of help, but he's been just unbelievable all season. A lot of people predicted that he was going to have a big year, and he's definitely he's come to play this year, and it's showing as the Canucks are turning some heads for sure.
Yeah, I've been finding myself watching a lot of Arizona Coyotes games, to tell you the truth. They ended up getting a victory over the Habs last night, and the Habs look pretty good too. So there's some teams out there, Stork. I know we rattle off our NHL predictions. Coyotes, I think you had them in the playoffs, didn't you not? It was either you
Yeah,
or Nick.
no,
Yeah,
that was me, man.
yeah. I had them right on the cusp, but just barely missing. If I could switch a pick, I'd put them in right now. They look really good.
Yeah.
Here
I
in
got
the
them
first.
in the bubble zone, but I've got them over the top, and they're gonna squeak out a playoff spot because I really believe in that team this year. I think they're gonna get better as the season goes for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely back to the Canucks. I definitely had them in the lofts. Rick Tockett's got that team home, and if I was to give maybe a coach of the year right now, it could be Rick Tocchet. I know there's some other. I know we're only 1 month in. Really impressed with what he's done there in Vancouver. But back to the scoreboard, you are up, sir, on the champs again, 14-7. We'll dive into some of these contests with the remaining minutes we got here on episode 6. But looks like you're doing really well. But we've got 3 big days left. Mark of the Woody Woodpeckers has a 10-8 lead over the Killer Bunnies. That one kind of has been flip flopping all week itself as well. Probert Etiquette is beating Huma 12-6. It doesn't seem like they have anybody right now that is challenging them in their matchups. But I remember Julio cutting it to, I think, 10-8 or something last night. So we'll dive into his match and see if he has a chance at that one this weekend. Dave's looking to go to 4-0. The Cherry Bombs, like I said, Nova Fire Brigade is taking it out this week on her 15-4. As they were just devastated with that 1-point loss late last week to Mark's Woody Woodpeckers. We'll see what Scott's up to. And then we got a battle here between Nick's Frozen Norseman and the DuPont Pipelines. DuPont Timmy trying to get his first win of the year, 11-9. Storky, what are your thoughts? Which match would you like to look at here?
Well, I mean, we can start with that Norseman and DuPont. As I mentioned, DuPont needs to get a victory under their belt, and they're certainly in range with 3 days left of week 4, and they need a big win. And of course, the Norsemen they don't want to fall to 1-4 or 1-3, and so that's a big game really for DuPont especially.
Yeah, Timmy and his goaltending's looking up. Jake Odgers 2-0 this week. I believe Scott Wedgwood. They got the win though last night. They beat the Oilers, didn't they?
Yes.
What is wrong with the Edmonton Oilers? That's another topic. They won that
Goaltending right
outdoor.
now.
Yeah, they won that outdoor game there, the Heritage Classic last Sunday. I got to watch a little bit of that. I thought that was great. Hats off to Nickelback for phenomenal performance. McDavid's favorite band. Are you a Nickelback fan, Stork?
No, I'm not a Nickelback
Oh,
fan.
okay. I don't mind them. I don't
I'm an
mind them as
old
much.
punk rocker. You think Nickelback's
Yeah,
gonna sit on my list?
awesome. But Timmy's got good goaltending. Samsonov, I guess I thought he played well last night. I didn't watch that game, Stork,
Yeah, he
except for
did
the end.
actually.
But Timmy's got the goaltending. I don't know where he's just not getting it done. He's got. I guess the Penguins have been kind of lackluster. Stork Crosby uh, putting up okay numbers, I guess. Bedard is chipping in here and there, but the Blackhawks are showing their true form. He's starting to get some good play out of his Seattle Kraken. They've been winning some games lately. Can you put a finger on why DuPont's just not getting out of the gates here? Looks like Matt Duchene's fitting in well with Dallas. He's had 2 goals, 1 assist this week. Looking at his lineup, you know who a player needs to get going, and he's on the New Jersey Devils. What's up with Dawson Mercer? This guy, I don't think he's got any goals this year.
No, he doesn't. I don't know. He's a good hockey player too, but it's perhaps it's just because he's been put in a checking role in New Jersey now.
Yeah.
So his role has changed, but he's a good hockey player, and I'm sure he'll come around.
Over on Nick's side, Stork, look at Rupe Hintz this week. This guy's throwing his hat in for maybe a star of the week. 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. The Stars haven't played as many games as some of these teams, and they're starting to get those games in. I think you're starting to see the Dallas Stars show that they're a massive Stanley Cup contender. I'm not sure. What do we got? Jared McCann has a 4-point week so far for the Pipe Players. Kaprizov scored last night. Nick's getting a little
Yes.
bit of scoring here. So I'm not sure why Nick's record 1-2 is not as good as it is. I think Nick's got a great team. So I don't know. It should be a barn burner. There's only 2 games tonight. We'll see how these 2 teams progress the rest of the weekend. Let's take a look at the Nova Fire Brigade and Cherry Bomb, Stork. 15-4, like I said. Scott's whipping up on Alex and welcoming her to the league. Scott's got all the offensive categories on lock so far. That's still competitive.
Yeah, it's still up there.
But his goaltending has been outstanding as well, and so's Alex's actually.
Yeah, that's definitely a goaltending duel going on in this game. But yeah, the Cherry Bombs, they got a good team, but Nova Fire Brigade are just out dueling them in goaltending and basically in the stats too. But it's very close, and I think this one will tighten up as the week goes by.
Yeah, she's got Shesterkin and Jari. Shesterkin carrying the mail for her though this week. 2 wins already. A save percentage of .946. Those New York Rangers, Stork, I think I had them being the team missing by a hair, and I put the Penguins in. If that'd be the Metro switch, I think the Rangers are looking legit. Lavi, let's see what he can do. I know he's always hot with his new teams. Still time for them to mess that up. He's got the young guys going there, Laffy, Capo Caco, and but that goaltending, Shesterkin looking really good. She's also got Jari, who's so. But Cherry Bombs actually she's got a lot of young guys. That Matt Poitras in Boston, I really like that player that she has. She goes with Jake Sanderson a lot, and Sean Dursey, the guy in Arizona. He gets a lot of power play time. I think she's got a lot of young players and can get back in. I think the biggest downfall for her is McDavid's just not being McDavid.
No.
She's not getting the McDavid production that the first overall pick. He's got to be still ailing. What are your thoughts on McDavid?
Yeah, I think he's hurting a little bit, but I mean, this is Connor McDavid we're talking about. You know, you're not going to hold this guy down for long. He's going to, well, when he breaks out, it's going to be a week of like 15 points or something like that, and he's just going to go crazy. It's just a matter of time with him. So I mean, obviously he has no points this week, but he's still got a big game tomorrow. And I think that's been the difference in this one. I think that's why the Cherry Bombs are down 15-4 is because
Yeah.
she needs production from guys like McDavid and a few others out there. Nobody's really stood out on her offensive score sheet so far this week, and it's definitely cost her.
Scotty, in the meantime, he picked up Simeon Varlamov, the backup to Sorokin, and this guy's just been phenomenal. He got a shutout last night. I think he's got a couple shutouts this year. But adding to the repertoire of the Nova Fire Brigade, because he's already got Linus Allmark and Aiden Hill, who are both basically 1As on their team. They do share a lot of the net. But like you said, Scott's goaltending has been lights out. Aiden Hill 1-0 with a .949. Basically, he's got Boston and Vegas. Those two are on the collision course, if you're going to say, in October for a Stanley Cup, the way they're playing out the gates. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Over on Scott's, Jamie Benn has been lighting it up this week, another Dallas Star. He's got 5 points this week, Stork. Yeah. And then your boy, Sean Couturier, I'm noticing he's out again.
Oh, what a shock.
I mean, he has been
shock, Jimmy.
He's been shipping in, but oh man, get this guy some luck. I mean, this guy cannot stay healthy.
He needs to play in some bubble wrap. I think they should wrap some bubble wrap around him.
And that's a huge loss for Nova, but he is actually being picked up in by other offensive players. I mean, Couturier too dominates in that faceoff slot. It's a damn shame that guy can't stay healthy. Barkov's having quiet. I think the Florida Panthers are actually impressing me a lot more than I thought. They had a shutout the other night. Ovi's a little quiet and playing poor defense. He's a -3. DeBrincat's cooled off a little bit from the hot start.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Scott's getting an all-around production on the offensive side, and goaltending is the name of the game for the Nova Fire Brigade. So we'll watch this one a little bit more closely as the weekend winds down. Dave, 12-6 up on Huma. This is one of his closer matchups of the year so far, though. Julio's doing a great job. They're pretty close on offensive categories, Stork. It's kind of an exciting watch. They're tied in assists. Dave's up 8-7 in goals. Points wise, Julio's right there, 24-23. Dave can be actually caught really well if Julio takes care of business. But where Dave dominates is the power play. He's got 11 power play points. Julio's got 6, but he has yet to get a power play goal. I think this one could be a lot interesting than what 12-6 shows. We'll see how it goes.
Huma's got to watch their goaltending. As you can see, Dave has got his goaltending set for the week. He doesn't need any more. But Huma's still short a couple, so he's definitely got to work on that for the next 3 days.
Yeah, Dave getting really good production out of a carousel that I would think would not be that great. But I guess Demko is playing great in Vancouver with that great team in front of him. Figures that in another league I had Demko and I traded him. That figures. But Carter Hart, I mean, it looks like Carter Hart's out as well, buddy. That might hurt. He's got him on the IR. But Ville Husso in Detroit is Dave's other goalie, so he's getting all of his goaltending from Thatcher Demko. Dave just having a sick year from Elias Pettersson. This guy, I thought, got drafted way too late, and it was only round 2. But Jack Hughes being Jack Hughes, he could be the MVP of the league with McDavid not playing up to where McDavid should play. And I noticed Svechnikov is back, Stork. I haven't seen any Carolina games yet. Doesn't seem like Carolina's doing too bad, but it doesn't seem like they're lighting it up. But
they're easing him back into the lineup because he's missed a lot of hockey over the last while. So they're just they're only giving him 12, 13, 14 minutes, and I think they're putting, they're not putting too much on him, and a lot of that is just power play time. But he's a heck of a hockey player, and you'll watch his numbers go up for sure as the days go by.
And I'm going to throw a shout out to two players that are quietly beasts on Proper Etiquette. Look at Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, he's only got a goal this week, but this guy wins a lot of faceoffs, and he's always kind of clutch. He'll score you a shorty. He'll score you a power play point. Seth Jarvis, one of the most noticeable Carolina Hurricanes this year. And then we haven't talked about this team nearly enough, Stork. We talked about the Coyotes. What about the Anaheim Ducks? I watched them play the Penguins at my parents' last week. Penguins had 2 5-on-3s in that game. Had a 5-on-3, could have won the game, tied 3-3. McTavish comes out of the box. Mason McTavish playing really well for the Probert Etiquette.
Yeah.
He's got 2 goals, 2 assists this week. He had the game-winning dagger coming out of the box, scores with 12 seconds left on the Penguins. Penguins don't get any points out of that game. Anaheim Ducks had a great road trip.
Yeah,
and they won.
they're
They
playing
beat
really. And you know what? They're doing that without Trevor Zegras, who has been invisible from right from the start of the season. He actually got benched a couple of times, and for Anaheim to do what they're doing right now, they're playing really good hockey. But they got to get Zegras going, and Terry's had a really good start. McTavish is off to a good start. But Zegras is supposed to be their best player, and he just hasn't showed up all year.
Well, the 2 games, I watched them play the Flyers in a day game, and I watched them against the Penguins. The eye test, Zegras is very noticeable. But stat-wise, I guess you would be correct there, sir. I think Zegras will be all right.
Oh, yeah.
And the defensively, they have a goaltender. Gibson's not even the better goalie on that team right now. The Lucas Dostal.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that right.
Yep.
I noticed Whalen picked him up, and I want to say Holly has him now or something. Somebody does.
Yeah, I've got him in fantasy too. I think he's going to be probably the number 1 goalie in Anaheim at one point. So.
Yeah, he if they get goaltending, watch out for the Anaheim Ducks. I think they will be a fun team to watch. So Dave is getting some production from lesser known names there. As far as Julio, I'd like to talk about Julio. I don't think we talk about Julio too much. He's getting some great production from Sean Monahan in Montreal. Mm-hmm. Also, Evander Kane has actually had a pretty good week out of all the Oilers that aren't producing. He has been noticeable. Kuzmenko had a 3-point week so far. He got look at Quinn Hughes. A goal, 7 assists, and 8 points so far this week. He got in on the action last night, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Quinn Hughes probably could throw his name into a Norris candidate after October. Julio, like you said, he's got a goaltending carousel. He's going to need to get it going. Bobrovsky, Campbell, Thompson, and Vanacek. I don't think Vanacek's going to be the starter tonight, so he might have to get on that. No. I think Schmid. I have Schmid
is coming in tonight.
Yeah. So Julio, like you said, is going to need to get that goaltending in order and figure out who the hell is going to get him his 3 starts. I think he does have the capabilities of getting those 3 starts in.
Well, New Jersey plays on Sunday, and you have to imagine that Vanacek will get the start on Sunday for sure. But I mean, he's when you have 4 goaltenders in your system, you shouldn't be scrambling to make sure you have enough games in. So he should be okay. Like I said, Vanacek is probably scheduled for Sunday. And either Bobrovsky, Campbell, or Thompson will probably get 1 start out of all 3 of those guys. So he should be okay. But, I mean, this is going to be I think this is going to be a lot closer. I think Proper Etiquette is going to get a challenge from Huma. And you know how I feel about Huma this year. I think they're going to be a really solid team. And I've got them right up there in a playoff spot. They're not playing like it right now, but they're only 1-2. Lots of season left. They still have 18 games left. And this one certainly isn't over yet.
Yeah, if he's able to get the win, that would be a huge statement for Julio. Let's move on real quick. We got a couple more matchups to talk about before the show's over. Woody Woodpeckers have a 2-point lead on Killer Bunnies. I think this is a great matchup. First meeting ever, Mark and Dan Hall. Mark's goaltending looks kind of pretty crappy, actually. Actually, both teams, their GAAs are over 400, 4.0. I'm not sure exactly what's going on because Mark's got a great goaltending carousel. Saros and Sorokin. Sorokin obviously didn't play last night, but his GAA is kind of high. So I wouldn't worry too much about Mark as far as the goaltending. He'll get it together there. Dan Hall, like we said, he has Joseph Wall. He's 0-1, though, for him this week. Gustafson in Minnesota, and then Dostal. So I think Hall's going to be fine in the goaltending. Looks like Hall's suffering a lot on the injury front. McAvoy, Arvidsson's been out, and Philip Hedl are day-to-day. But I think this one's going to come down to the wire. Nobody's really standing out, though, on Hall's team. Tkachuk,
definitely been a lackluster performance by both teams this week, really.
Nylander's chipped in a few points. I like Travis Sanheim on the blue line. This guy has been probably one of those defensive standouts and probably one of the better Philadelphia Flyers. Probably a big reason why they've been relevant to start the season. In our matchup, when I played Dan, Keandre Miller had a phenomenal week. In fact, he put in a game winner in overtime. He's throwing up some points for Hawley. I think Hall needs to get more production out of Dylan Cousins. I don't think he's been that noticeable. I traded for Dylan Cousins in another fantasy league. I love that player. We'll see how it goes for him. Back to Mark. He's getting absolutely nothing from Jonathan Huberdeau. What about those Calgary Flames, Stork? They are the biggest disappointment, I would have to say, maybe in the NHL. Your thoughts on the Flames?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Calgary right now. They don't seem to be playing as a team. A lot of guys are struggling. Huberdeau, at the beginning of the season, promised that he would be the Huberdeau of old, and he's been another guy who's been invisible. I just don't know what's going on in Calgary, and I mean, the other day in the Edmonton game, they just look lost. They look like they were not playing as a unit. None of their lines are going. Cadre's been quiet, and he's supposed to be one of their leaders. Huberdeau's been quiet. Their best player right now has been Mangiapane and really probably Lindholm. Nobody else is showing up.
A lot of rumors Lindholm could be a good fit for the Capitals.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. I would take that any day because obviously Nick Backstrom, the big news in the Caps land, taking time off. I'm sure he's done with his hip resurfacing. He's trying to get his health in order, and he's stepped aside. So all the best to Backy, true legend for the Capitals. Back to Mark's team. He's absolutely getting not as much as he wants. The number 2 pick in the draft, Leon Draisaitl, Stork. He hasn't done much this week. 18 faceoff wins, about all he's done. Mark is getting great production from Brock Besser. Like we said, back to the Canucks. They're enjoying time there with Rick Tocchet. Besser, best start to his season I've ever seen. Other standouts for Mark, I love Logan Cooley. Throw his name in for Calder. I think he is every bit as good as Bedard this year. And other than that, I'd like to see maybe more production. What do you think of John Tavares this year, Stork, as a Leafs resident expert? He's winning 22 faceoffs for Mark so far this week. Dominant in the faceoff dot. Are you happy with John Tavares overall?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if you look at Tavares, his career, he is one of the most consistent hockey players of any player that you can think of. I mean, you look at his stats; he's always 70 to 85 points a year. He's a quiet leader, really. He doesn't. He's not going to get 100 points for you, but he's consistent in all facets of the game. He really takes his crap seriously. He's an all business kind of hockey player, and I mean, it's great for the Leafs to have John Tavares. I know a lot of people that don't really know much about hockey, and they think, well, how come we're giving him all this money? How come he's not getting 100 points? Well, that's not who he is. I mean, he does a lot of other things that nobody really notices. I like John Tavares.
So Mark and Hull, I think this one's going to have a lot of fireworks. All the categories are pretty close. I think whoever has the better goaltending in this match during the next 3-day stretch will win this contest. Let's move on to your match, Stork. You got a 14-7 lead over the champs, and you own Mark Raymond, the other Mark, Mark with a K. The champs. Storky, you're looking pretty good on the offensive side, but he's right there with you. You're killing him in goals. Your goal production, you doubled. Power play, you're doing a little bit better than him, and you've got the shorty point this year this week, plus 3 GWG. So you look pretty safe there in those two categories. Goaltending, looks like you're winning most of that as well.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on your matchup?
Well, I was behind earlier in the week, Monday and Tuesday. You'll see that I was down for the week, but Thursday's games, I had a good Thursday, and I had a good Wednesday too for as little games as there was. But my goaltending's much better. It was good last week, but it's been much better this week. I'm getting good production from. I picked up this kid Prosatov from Colorado because I knew he was going to get a start, and he's another one of those prospects that Colorado's sitting in the minors, but he's up playing right now. He got called up, and I thought, he could probably beat St. Louis at home, and he came through for me with a 4-1 victory, and he's still sitting there because, I kind of like the kid. I might just hold on to him.
Yeah, you got a 1-2 stack punch there with Gorgiev, and that's pretty good. And Swayman, you can't go wrong. So your goaltending carousel looks really good. You're getting production out of Lucas Raymond had an overtime goal earlier this week. Konechny's cooled off a little bit. Jesper Bratt, I mean, this guy has been unbelievable, especially on the power play.
He just keeps going, doesn't he?
He's a power play point machine. I think that's a big reason why you're winning that category is because of Jesper Bratt. And Austin Matthews, he's been a goal and assist this week. What do you think of Austin right now?
Well, he's I don't know. I mean, he's doing all the other things and everything, but I think his wrist is bothering him still.
Still.
If you notice from yesterday's game, if you didn't watch it, but he didn't take a whole lot of face-offs in the third period,
right?
Especially. And I think there's something going on with the wrists. He's had a history of wrist problems, as you know. And I think it's affecting him a little bit because he stopped taking face-offs in the third period. He had Camp coming out there to take the face-off, whether he was in the offensive or defensive zone. And as soon as Austin got a chance, he got off the ice, or Camp, I should say, got off the ice, and Austin came on. So, I mean, that tells you something right there.
Over on Mark's side, he's still got a shot to win this game, Stork. But he's got 2 starts from Freddie Anderson, but that is his only goaltender. He's playing with fire. Obviously, Freddie's got pretty good stats, being 1-1.
He's not going to get 2 starts in the next 2-3 days. So, he's going to have to get a goaltender.
He needs 1 more start from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, but, he needs 1 more. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll find a goaltender. Offensively, his number 1 pick was Jason Robertson, and he's starting to come through with the way the more every Dallas Star is putting up points right now. Pavelski, they each have 4 points this week. Kempe in LA, the LA Kings, I like how they're playing right now. They're getting goaltender from Talbot, a guy I picked up this week who got a win over your Leafs, Stork. So Mark's getting production, He's got Chris Kreider, 2 goals this week, and he's got Lindholm, what we talked about, 2 assists. Probably one of the most talented Flames. So Mark's got some work to do against you. I think it is a lot closer than that score.
Yeah, the score is kind of not revealing of what's going on this one. There's a lot of close categories, so I don't have this in the bag quite yet.
I mean, like I said, your power play, special teams, and the unicorn stats like shorties in game-winning goals. I think you have him there. If Mark can get a nice goaltending start, he's right. I think he's right there with you. But I like the way your goaltending is, Stork. So I think you're in good shape. But we will see. And that leaves one more match to talk about, buddy. And that's mine. I'm getting murdered at the moment, but it is close. 14-5. If that makes sense. Category wise, Wayland, hats off. And good luck to him, by the way. He's in a playoff football game tonight, coaching. It's win or go home. They're playing Forks up there in Washington State as they're going after another state title. But Wayland's up on me 14-5, Storky. He took over last night in every offensive category because he has JT Miller and a couple other Canucks, I think. But I had him dead to rights earlier this week, but it just seems like the Canucks helped him last night. And a couple of I have Hellebuck. Goaltending went south on me. I have more than enough starts this week, but I'm going after shots and saves because Wayland also has a lot of starts. Kemper really hasn't done much for him, but he's had Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who I noticed is also starting tonight for the injured Levi. So he's been getting good stats from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, UPL there in Buffalo. He's had a phenomenal week. Also, guys, I got to watch out for Jeff Skinner. Excuse me. What about the Breadman there in New York? A 4-point week, Stork. He shaved his head, and I think the Breadman's had a great start. And then JT Miller's had a 4-point week. He killed me last night. Anze Kopitar, 16 faceoff wins, 2-point week so far for him. So Adna, Tage Thompson's heating up. 3 points this week, Stork. Had a great game against the Flyers. He'll be playing the Flyers again tonight. Tyler Toffoli scored a point last night. Mo Sider, this is a guy I've been really impressed with. He had a quieter sophomore campaign last year, Storky, but
yeah, he did.
This guy, every time I put him in, is delivering with either hits, assists, or just overall block shots. So Cale Makar is back in my lineup, breathing a sigh of relief. I did not have him, unfortunately, the other night. I accidentally did not see that he was playing the Blues in time, so that might have hurt me a little bit. But overall, I can still win this game. My goaltending's let me down as Hellebuck-wise. Hellebuck and the Jets need to get it going. But I'm putting in Schmid tonight. It's make or break, buddy. As Schmid is going to be on my. I got too many goaltenders. I have to get rid of one. Might be him. So GM Dubas, is he calling you?
No. I'll ignore it.
All right. Well, Storky.
I noticed your favorite player. Well, one of your favorites is having a decent week too, and that's Wyatt Johnson. I'm watching that guy. Let me tell you, I might even make a phone call myself and talk to you about getting Wyatt Johnson. You never know.
Hey, my phone's always open, sir, on trades. We got a long way to go. Yes, like I said, the Dallas Stars, they're getting production from everybody. They look very good. I don't think a lot of people are talking about. I haven't actually watched this Dallas Stars game yet. I was going to last night with Edmonton, but I just there's too much going on here. But anything you want to wrap up the show with, Stork? It's been a great hour here on the Storks Desk episode 6. A lot of hockey to finish up week 4. Some exciting matchups.
Lots of games tomorrow for sure. And it's going to be, tomorrow's going to make or break a lot of these games this week because there's not much going on tonight. with only 2 games, and then Sunday there's only 2 games. So everybody's going to have to get their points and get their goaltending up to 3 starts probably by tomorrow, or it could be tough on some teams.
Yes, sir. Tonight I will be going to the Seattle Thunderbirds. They're finally back on the west side of the WHL, and it's Patrick Marleau night. Patty Marleau's getting his
Nice.
sweater retired. He's already got it retired in San Jose. He played for 2 years here with the Seattle Thunderbirds. I was not here for those, by the way, but really cool night. We'll get to see that. Everybody gets a Patrick Marleau beer koozie sweater.
Yeah, he's
when you
a
walk in.
class act. He's always been a class act.
So congratulations to him. They're taking on the Spokane Chiefs tonight. There's a player on the Chiefs, Stork. I think his name's Berkeley Caton. He'll be a top 5 pick. I'm excited to go see him play tonight. But that's what I'm doing. Anything you doing this weekend exciting?
I'm just gonna be running my leagues and of course watching football because I got a lot of football leagues that I got to run. So and of course tomorrow is huge with hockey going on, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing my usual thing, watching sports, Jimmy.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll end the show with tragic, I guess, shout out or thoughts and prayers to Adam Johnson, player who unfortunately passed away in a game over in the English League, a former Pittsburgh Penguin. Unfortunate event. He got his neck cut. Just a horrific tragedy. We like to send our thoughts and prayers to Adam's friends and family and the whole hockey community. Me as a beer league player myself, I'm gonna start wearing a neck guard, buddy. What are you thinking? You think this? I know it might take some time for the NHL. I noticed TJ Oshie was wearing one last night. WHL is now mandating those. I've worn one before. I don't think it's that restricting. It might sweat a little bit more, but it's scary injury. I hate to see any kind of cuts from skates. I mean, if you look at it, we're skating on knives, buddy.
Yeah.
So just a terrible incident there over in the English League. So I send my thoughts and prayers out to Johnson's family. It's just unfortunate, buddy. Any thoughts?
I'm totally with the neck guards for to be eventually brought in for everybody. It's the same thing with the helmets. I mean, the NHL had to clamp down at one point and say, look, everybody has to have a helmet. And a lot of people were, oh, well, it restricts me. And well, you gotta protect your head, and you need to wear a helmet. And if you want to play in the NHL, that's what you got to do from now on. I think the same thing's going to happen with the neck guard because this tragic event that happened, it might have been probably the worst than the other ones, but this is not the first time that players have had neck injuries due to hockey skates. You can look at a few of them, and it's just it was a matter of time before something really, really tragic happened. And I think this is going to wake up a few leagues because nobody can tell me that a neck guard is going to restrict their movement and stuff. Maybe they should think about the way skates are sharpened nowadays. I mean, they're sharp. They've always been sharp, but they're even sharper nowadays in hockey. And they got to do something because I don't want to see anybody else go down with this tragedy happening.
Yeah, as a beer league player, I mean, any level. This I know a tragic event happened also last year with a young youth hockey player. For me, the most scary is it's not even on the ice is when you're getting off over the boards. Sometimes skates go at a parallel or a horizontal angle. Yeah. You're sitting there, maybe getting up. I'm going to be looking into the wrist guards myself. The Evander Kane I mean, that could happen a lot more than it does. I mean, thankfully, you know, these aren't considered freak accidents, but like I said, I think it can happen more often than they do. So I got no problem with it as well, buddy. And like I said, all the best to Johnson's friends and family. That's going to take a long time to heal over. So
Just
we here at the league send our condolences. Buddy, this was a good show. Sad to end it on a sour note like that, but looking forward to seeing how week 4 plays out here. And we'll talk to you next week on episode 7, buddy.
all right, buddy.
So for Kevin Stork, the deputy, I'm the commish, Jimmy Milstead. Badger Bob always said it's a great day for hockey. Enjoy the hockey, and we'll talk to you very soon. Good night, everybody.